Well, we should have this bell all the time. Good evening and welcome to the 20th year of celebrating integrity and high moral standards in vocations in the city of Leominster. At this time, I'd ask you to please stand. We have the Leominster Color Guard, Police Color Guard, presenting the colors. If we could ask John Tater to come forward, Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd now like to ask Mary Dean, President of the Leominster Rotary Club, who will sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. May all be seated. I'd just like to thank our color guard who do an incredible job and do us proud in the city. Elvin Vasquez, Kyle Minmore, Leo Colon, and Ryan Morrell. They're always there to help us whenever we need them. At this point, I would like to invite Mary Dean, for president of our club, for opening remarks.
Mayor Mazzarella, Senator Antonioni, city councilors, school committee members, city department heads, Rotary District Governor-elect Jim Fusco, Rotarians, and honored guests. Welcome to the Leominster Rotary Club's 20th Annual Vocational Awards Dinner. When I was a college freshman debating what I would major in, my father's advice to me was study something you love because you'll be working for the rest of your life. It is an honor to be here on this 20th anniversary celebrating those that love their work. I just want to briefly share with you some of the ways that the Leominster Rotary Club improves the quality of life and serves the public interest in our community. Annually, the club provides 2 to 3 scholarships to worthy high school students, seniors, who demonstrate dedication to their studies, high moral standards, and commitment to the community. The club supports the Mayor's Office Fuel Assistance Program through annual donations that provide fuel to needy families in the city. The club sends 2 high school sophomores annually to the District Rotary Youth Leadership Award Conference. At this conference, these students who have demonstrated that they are emerging leaders are given the opportunity to broaden and strengthen their leadership skills. The club supports a local food pantry monthly that provides assistance to Leominster's hungry. The club annually sponsors students to attend the American Legion's Boys State, where participants learn about the rights and responsibilities of citizenship. The club has funded a camera in the UMass NICU so that families can check in on their beloved newborns via computer 24 hours a day. Internationally, the Leominster Club supports school children in India with uniforms, transportation, school, sports equipment, and the very important clean drinking water. Finally, the club takes great pride in our support of the Leominster Schools music programs. For 20 years, the club has annually financially supported the high school band, and in the last 5 years has extended that support to the middle and elementary schools, providing funds for the purchase of instruments that otherwise would not have been possible. These activities are funded by annual fundraisers with which some of you may be very familiar. Our historical calendar, which I have to mention we have available for sale here today, the annual breakfast for the bands at Thanksgiving, our annual wine pairing dinner, which Claire will better describe later in the program, and our flower boxes, which beautify downtown Leominster. At this time, I'd like to ask all the Rotarians in the room to please stand. These Rotarians ringing the bell for the Salvation Army at the mall, providing dictionaries to local 3rd graders, handing out flags at Starburst, cooking chowder at the Johnny Appleseed Festival, giving out candy at the downtown strolls, serving up eggs and bacon at the breakfast for the bands, and planting flowers at Washington Square. Thank you all for all you do. A special thank you to all of our sponsors for this evening: Workers Credit Union, Manor on the Hill, Richardson Funeral Home, Omniforte, Tom's Package Store, Clinton Savings Bank, Norm Winchester Realtor, Frigoletto and Associates, and Columbia Tavern. We appreciate your continued support. Thank you very much to Pat Delaney for entertaining us on the piano. A very special thank you to Kelly Frieda for preparing the beautiful picture presentations that you saw at the start of the program and that you'll continue to see throughout the night. A very special thank you to Claire Frieda, our event chairperson. Thank you for putting together such a very special celebration for our 20th anniversary. In our 89th year, the Leominster Rotary Club would like to welcome you to join us on a Monday for lunch at Cornerstone's restaurant. We'd love to answer your questions and provide you the opportunity to join us in our mission of service above self. As a classics major, I did decide to study something I love, I must end with a Latin phrase, which I believe is apropos to those award winners we are honoring this evening. Nil magnum nisi bonum. There is no greatness without goodness. Thank you. So at this time, I'd like to invite Father Fred Franey from St. Anna's Parish to lead us in our invocation.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. O Jesus, divine physician, you have taught us to comprehend the magnitude of your prescription for divine love, namely to love God with all our heart, all our mind, all our strength, and to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Throughout your ministry on earth, you demonstrated a preferential option for those among us who are less fortunate, the poor, the infirmed, the dying, and each lost soul that has been outcast and forgotten by the world in which they live. Eternal High Priest, we thank you this evening for gathering so many talented honorees as administrative, technical, maintenance, and financial personnel from around our great city of Leominster. Bless, protect, and reward them, for their work is a memory of your own labors. As they continue to build the kingdom of God on earth, strengthen their resolve, and inspire their hearts to continue and persevere in accomplishing your will. May we all become like a tree planted by water, sending out its roots by the stream. As we drink of your living water, may each of our actions be the avenue through which your Holy Spirit bears much fruit among the people entrusted to our care. We pray that you look upon all gathered here tonight. In the coming year, afford them the grace to build up with their words, to serve with their hands, and to love with their hearts. May we never forget, whatsoever we do to the least of our brethren, we do for you. Finally, bless this wonderful meal we are about to receive. Bless the hands that have prepared it, and in a most special way, bless those who today will go without. I ask this as I ask all things, through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Father. Now we will have dinner, and please, if you can take a moment, look at the slides that are running. You see a little bit about what Rotary does in the city. And then we'll come back and start our program. Thank you. I trust that everyone enjoyed their dinner. I'd really like to thank Kathy and the staff who did an outstanding job and quickly made room for an extra 30 people that showed up at the door tonight. So we really need to thank them for their help. Before we begin, this is a night on honoring vocations. And there are many important vocations. And sadly, we just heard that there was a 9-alarm fire in Boston, and 2 firefighters died tonight. So I'd like to ask for a moment of silence out of respect for that profession and what they do for us. Thank you. Please keep them in your prayers. Because they were out of the room marching, I just want to take another minute to thank Elvin Vasquez and Kyle Minmar, Leo Colon, and Ryan Morrell for doing an incredible job for us with the color guide. They're some of Leominster's finest. We appreciate them. I'd also like to introduce some of the special guests that are with us tonight. Mary alluded to Senator Antonioni, who's with us for Wendy Weeks tonight. Some of my city council colleagues, Ward 3 Councilor David Cormier. Ward 4 Councilor Mark Bedanza. At-large Councilor Bob Savatelli. And at-large Councilor Jim Lanciani. We also have with us members of the school committee. Ward 1 School Committee member Kristen Howlett. Ward 2 Committee member Ron Houle. Ward 4 Committee member Nona Ojala. At-large member Bill Como. And at-large member Sue Kohler. Just to give you an idea of why we do this, I'm not going to talk about Rotary because Mary did a great job on that. But I'm going to read you what we subscribe to. It's the Rotary Code of Conduct, and it kind of applies to vocations and everything that we do. As a Rotarian, I will exemplify the core value of integrity in all behaviors and activities. Use my vocational experience and talents to serve in Rotary. Conduct all of my personal, business, and professional affairs ethically, encouraging and fostering high ethical standards as an example to others. Be fair in all dealings with others and treat them with the respect due to them as fellow human beings. Promote recognition and respect for all occupations which are useful to society. Offer my vocational talents to provide opportunities for young people to work for the relief of the special needs of others and to improve the quality of life in my community. Honor the trust that Rotary and fellow Rotarians provide and not do anything that will bring disfavor or reflect adversely on Rotary or fellow Rotarians. Not seek from a fellow Rotarian a privilege or advantage not normally accorded others in a business or professional relationship. And we subscribe to that very carefully. And that's what a good part of what Rotary is about. As you can see, 20 years ago we started this program. And I'm going to read you from the Sentinel, and I know Ann O'Connor was here, so she'll get a kick out of this. 20 years ago, 4 who go above and beyond. They go above and beyond the call of duty, often on their own time. They fight fires, keep our streets safe, and build our playgrounds. They are Leominster City employees, and 4 of them were recently honored by the Leominster Rotary Club as Employees of the Year. Many of the Rotary clubs across the country honor a firefighter, police officer, and a DPW Employee of the Year. This is the first time that the Leominster Club has done so, said Oscar O'Connor, president of the club. Nominations are made by the chiefs of each city department. Then a committee of Rotarians made the final selection, and John Mooney Jr., Leominster Rotary member. 2 Leominster police officers were named because they worked together as a team on the drug enforcement unit, said O'Connor. Officer Joe Siciliano Jr. and Louis Benoit are both Leominster natives who have put their heart and soul into getting drugs off the streets. Last year alone, which would be 1994, the unit was involved in serving more than 60 search warrants and made 115 drug-related arrests, according to Police Chief Peter Roddy, who nominated the officers. Benoit has been in the force for 19 years and was a member of the original drug enforcement unit formed in 1987. In 1993, he was promoted to sergeant. He took over the unit in 1994. Siciliano joined the department in 1986 and was on patrol for his first 7 years, working closely with the drug enforcement unit. He became a member in 1993. Paul Kennedy was named Firefighter of the Year for his work on the proposed emergency 911 system for the city of Leominster. Firefighter Kennedy has put many months and hours of hard and sometimes frustrating investigative work into establishing this database while on as well as off duty, wrote Chief Ron Cormier in his nomination. Kennedy also spent many off-duty hours at the annual Mid-State Equipment Show and demonstration, said Cormier. He has been with the fire department almost 30 years. Phil Barshon, who has been with the Leominster Department of Public Works for almost 24 years, was nominated for the award by Patrick LaPointe, Director of Public Works. Phil has helped get some very expensive projects done in a short length of time, said LaPointe, noting that has saved taxpayer money. Among those projects was spreading soil and grading the fields at Northwest School, and grading for a new Lassie League field. Phil's organization of volunteers and efforts put this project 1 year ahead of schedule, said LaPointe. Bashan has also been a Boy Scout leader for 28 years, has worked on the renovations at Barrett Park. Phil Bashan, unfortunately, is no longer with us. Firefighter Kennedy was to be with us tonight, but called me last night. He came down with the flu. Louis Benoit was not available tonight, but Joseph Sliano was here, and I'd like Joe to stand up and be recognized 20 years later. And still going strong with the drug unit. Kind of encouraging these, and I have to thank the Leominster Public Library for doing their archive search. I called Susan, and within 24 hours I had the report, so I want to thank the library for that. Talks about how we've grown from 4 people being invited to a luncheon at the Franco-American Club where we were meeting back then to having such a great event now. At this time, I'm going to ask, because I know there are a lot, every past recipient of this award to stand. Come on, I know there are a lot of you. You know what the best thing is? They're all still working for the city of Leominster, so it goes to show you what a great city and a great place it is that we live, and a great community that we have. Okay, now we're going to start with the awards. Thanks a lot. Does that mean you had enough of me already? I'd now like to ask Mayor Mazzarella, who will present the first award of the evening to Wendy Weeks.
All right, you're all good well, I'm sorry, most of you were good tonight. And you know who you are. For those that weren't, we have your names and video, which we've pasted up on Facebook. So think about that for the rest of the night. Good evening, and thank you to the Rotary Club. And I'm always amazed that the staff here at Doubletree can get all this food out to all of us, like at the same time. It's an amazing thing to watch. But we really do thank the Rotary, service above self. As you heard, those firefighters today, what we didn't hear too much about, but we will, is all of the lives that they saved today. As the saying is, while some were running out of the building, they were running in to save people. And the state and the city and everyone will certainly be in their prayers, and they'll need a lot of support, those families, because people know in public safety, they go to work at the beginning of the shift, and there's a saying that says there is no routine day. There's nothing routine about public safety. But I guarantee you that those firefighters went to work this morning or last night, at the beginning of their shift, thinking it was it would just be a routine day, and we had skipped the big storm that the Cape had gotten. So again, a lot of support will be needed for those families in the coming days. I would ask Senator Antonioni to join me on the stage here to give this next award. Bob, come on up. When Senator Antonioni decided he wasn't going to run again, I can't say that I called him and said, you know, too much to him, except for, is Wendy in? And he immediately put me on and said, Wendy, we got to talk, because I knew what a valuable employee Wendy was. So I figured there would be a lot of people making those phone calls, and why make waste here, right? Haste makes waste. So I called, and I begged, and I tried to, you know, sweeten the deal, and she said no. And on and on we went. Did you say no? Yes. She said yes. But, you know, tonight I think what you'll hear is that we think we're just sometimes hiring employees, but little do we know the people that we hire, because they're much more than employees. They are the people with the biggest heart, they're the hardest workers, they are the most dedicated people. And I guarantee you that when they heard they were being chosen, they said, what, me? And that's always the case. But Wendy we hired as a grant writer, and she's very good at it. And you can read in the book all of the money that she's brought into the city. It's hundreds of millions of dollars that we have. If you look at a playground or a project in the city, it's got Wendy's name on it. And it's easy to say, yeah, we applied for a grant, but it's a whole lot of work that goes into it. But let me just tell you something more than that about Wendy the person. She's, first of all, she makes sure that we're all comfortable in our office. She goes out on the weekends and gets us grapes, and every day, a fresh batch of chocolate chip cookies in the mayor's office. I oftentimes think people are coming in to see me, and then I realize it's the chocolate chip cookies. So Wendy always has a good supply of those things. But Wendy's the first person, you know, she's the grant writer, to jump up and say, let me help. Put me on that committee. I'd like to help. She's the first person that calls in the middle of a storm or some sort of a ice storm or a big snowstorm and say, I'll man the phones down at City Hall or wherever you need me to help out, so that when people have questions, not everybody has Facebook, and a lot of times TV goes out and radio's out, people still have phones, they call City Hall, and Wendy's always there. Wendy, as you saw in her picture, dresses up as the clown in the parade, on rollerblades, which I'll never figure that part out. But she's always there to help us. She always buys a new car every few years, but the reality is, it's like a truck. She owns this Mazda, and it opens up in the back. I've seen ladders, plywood, pieces of floats in the back there. There's just nothing that Wendy won't do to help the community. And I'll let you know that Wendy's real passion at the beginning was to be a teacher. And she would have made a great teacher. But then she got the political bug, and off she went. She worked for Congressman Over, Senator Antonioni, and then myself. But it's really the person tonight that we're honoring, because there's nothing Wendy won't do for anybody. And she don't have to know who you are. You don't have to tell her your story. Wendy's always there to help everybody out. And she's like my little sister. Yeah, I love her like my little sister. And listen, you gotta face one thing. Anybody that can put up with me, I mean, that in and of itself is a mission. So, on behalf of all of us, Bob, would you just like to say anything, or do you want to help me hand out the award? Great. On behalf of all of us here in the city, Wendy Weeks, Employee of the Year at City Hall. Good job. You're going to stand over there and get that picture. Got a picture taken. Photo op. We walked the chocolate cake out from my lips. Okay. You want to say a few words?
Oh, yes.
Just two.
My turn.
Thank you. So many people have been in to sort of congratulate me, and I really appreciate all that. But they dared me to actually come up and say, why don't you get up and say, like they do, like Madonna and Bono, and make some big statement, like some shocking statement of something local going on. Or so I said, all right, I'm gonna do it.
Your mother's nervous.
No, she's not. So I said I would thank the Rotary and then make some statement. But I'm gonna thank the Rotary, and then they were all right, I'm chicken. So I'm not making any kind of statement. But I just want to thank the people who work in our office. We're a really good team. Everybody at City Hall really is it's a team effort. I remember the first day that I got to City Hall, I wasn't really sure. I didn't know where to go, and I pulled into the parking lot, and I heard someone say, "Hey," and I didn't even know where I was coming from. And so I'm like, I don't know. Hey, hurry up, we have a meeting. I'm like, a meeting? It wasn't even 8:30, and I thought, well, and then I looked, and it was the front, it was coming from that front parking space out front. and it was the mayor. He said, we have a roundtable meeting on economic development. I said, all right. So I didn't have a desk or anything, but I went to my first meeting by 8:30. So the whole day was chaotic because it was the inauguration day, and I thought, well, is this what every day is going to be like? So, we got everything ready. The food was out for the inauguration. And so by the time it was the inauguration itself, I went out and took a little break, got some air outside, and all of a sudden there was some emergency. And I thought, they're yelling for me. I thought, well, don't yell for me, because I've only been here for one day. So I don't know I can't help you. So you have to go into the auditorium. So the mayor was introducing me as the new employee, and I was missing it. So finally I got in there, and he said, oh, here she is. And I thought, okay, well, a little blunder, but I'm all right. I got recognized, and so that was it. So after the inauguration, people said to me, where's my food? And I said, well, what food? We have snacks like brownies and cookies. And I said, no, where's my food? I didn't know what they were talking about. So I found out later that during this gap that they were trying to find me, the mayor had announced that I was at El Camino getting the after food for the inauguration for us. Well, I didn't know anything, so that's what they were talking about food, but I didn't know. So this is the way it goes all the time now. And I figured this out, and then I think I was too serious at the beginning. I was too, so he tries to prove that I need to laugh a little and not, I was always worried that some report wasn't filed. So he sends me a text message and he says, guess what? And I'm like, I don't know. I instantly freak out because I think some state agency's after me, or federal agency, or I didn't file something. And then there's a delay. Because as you know, he always finds someone else to talk to, and he's always, so I thought, oh. So 20 minutes goes by. Finally, I get a response. Because I said, what? Tell me, I have to know, because I'm all worried. My stomach's upset by this time. And so I said, what? And I get this response. And I'm like, finally, I'm going to find out what's going on. He says, guess. I'm like, no, I don't want to guess anymore. I've been guessing for 20 minutes. But, he's just trying to, make it a little lighter in City Hall. But really, we have a lot of fun in City Hall. It's a great group of people. And I really have a lot of fun there. And I hope to stay there for a long time because it's a great job. So thank the Rotary and thank everybody. And one last thing, I have one last thing. My Aunt Carol, she challenged me to wave to her, so I am. But I want to thank my family and friends for coming.
Thank you, Wendy. We will now present the Fire Department Employee of the Year. And normally it is awarded by Chief Robert Sidlow, but he graciously asked Shane Newton, because he's such a close friend of Marcel Cormier. So we're asking Shane Newton, Firefighter Shane Newton, to come say a couple words.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Leominster Fire Department, our Chief, Robert Sidlow, we would like to thank the Leominster Rotary Club for hosting tonight's event, bringing us all together from our diverse backgrounds to recognize excellence in our community members. As I understand, Rotary International operates from two mottos: service above self, and one profits most who serves best. It's a little wordy, but I had to look it up, but it's pretty good. Stand by. Service above self is arguably the job requirement of any emergency responder, which is very much evident tonight. However, that belief and execution at such a high level deserves recognition and pause. This year's Leominster Rotary Club Firefighter of the Year is Marcel Cormier, a firefighter that fits your expectations of a city for service and excellence for our community. Whether it's in his day-to-day duties, on the scene of a significant emergency incident, mentoring another firefighter, or self-initiating and spearheading 2 fire department programs, Marcel Cormier is unshakable, methodical, and committed to getting the job done right the first time. Firefighter Cormier's personnel folder, Marcel, I took a peek. Whoa. His personnel folder is full of letters of gratitude and appreciation from families he's aided over a number of years, as well as letters from past chiefs in which he's worked under. His dedication to his trade is notable. Through preparation, ongoing skills training, and formalized professional development courses, Firefighter Cormier constantly improves upon the service he offers the community of Leominster. One profits most, who serves the best I could come up with was as Marcel's lieutenant for 4 years. I know he would not be personally satisfied nor confident in his abilities had he not chosen to do only what was merely required of him. Service is Firefighter Cormier's reward. It's what he wants to do. Marcel Cormier, come get your due.
Whew. I really don't know what to say. Thank you to the Rotary. Thank you, everybody. To say that this came as a surprise, this really not what I was expecting. They could have picked anybody on the department, and they would have been just as deserving. Thank you to my family, Chief. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And tonight, my thoughts and prayers are with the Boston Fire Department. Thank you.
Notice there's always such an air of humility. Everybody that comes up here says, I never expected it to be me, could have been anybody else, and which is exactly the reason most of them are chosen. We now have school department grades K through 5, Employee of the Year, Gail Goss. And her award will be presented by her principal, Andreas Vega of Southeast Elementary School.
Good evening. Well, we all know that firefighters are the heroes of any city, anywhere. And so thank you, Claire, for having me have the international guy come after the mayor and a hero. Truly. Gail Goss, I tell you, I didn't prepare any speech because as I thought about this, I figured that anything I say, it really, and I mean this from my heart, it really falls short of describing what Gail has meant to all of us. Having said that, I'd like to invite a couple of people up here front, if you allow me. Can I please have Wendy Hess, my assistant principal, who also has shared this experience, and Mrs. Elizabeth Pratt, who also had a big to do with having Gail coming up over to Southeast. Now, I'm not gonna leave it at that. when I think of Gail, I think of professionalism, dedication, and one of the most caring people I ever met in my life. A few years back, several years back, I had the pleasure of meeting Kenny Goss. At the time, I didn't know Gail, and I remember those memories they're in my heart, with all the conversations we used to have. And to me, I mean, he was an inspiration. He gave me a lot of good advice. And as I came to meet Gail, then I understood that behind every man, there is a great woman, right? Absolutely. And so, Gail, I can only say today, thank you for allowing us to come into your life and to share with you all these years that I hope is not just the end of an era, but simply another chapter of that book that we all educators share and have in common. Thank you, Gail. Please come up and get your award.
Well, we have to say something. Gail, I want you to take a look out at the crowd.
Wait 1 minute.
Yeah, that is 1970. Well, interesting. You would think where I teach for a living, I would be able to talk to a crowd, but I wanted to make sure that I put into words what I feel. First of all, I am so honored to be recognized by the Leominster Rotary Club as Elementary Teacher of the Year. And through the years, I've learned what a good teacher is because I have been surrounded by the very best. I have to go back to my roots of student teaching. Everybody who knows me has heard Mrs. Dorothea Huddleston. She was my mentor when I began in Amherst. I taught with Dorothea for 1 full year in a multi-age classroom of K1 and 2s. She told me this. She said, "You must teach children a curriculum, not a curriculum to children." She also had a huge banner in her classroom that proclaimed freedom to fail. She felt it was important that children be given a safety net in which to make mistakes. I was hired in Leominster in the summer of 1974 at Southeast School, comes full cycle, when Joe DeCarolis saw something in me that he thought would work in his open concept school. Joe taught me that teamwork is the most important thing. He ran his school that way. He was a mentor and later a friend. After leaving teaching for 9 years to begin raising my boys, I returned back to school as a part-time position as teacher of gifted and talented in grades 4 through 8. My dear friend and former colleague, Marilyn Fraterelli, gave me a chance to spread my creative wings in developing interest units for children that needed extensions in the curriculum. Much later, I returned to my Amherst roots and developed a multi-age 2-3 classroom with my colleague, Kathy Dalehausen. This was pure joy. Kathy and I worked side by side as teachers for many years, and I appreciate her wisdom as an educator and advice as a friend. And now, I find myself at the end of my career with the most wonderful group of colleagues who have become friends in the short time I have worked with them in grade 5. They have taught me that an old dog can learn new tricks, and for that I am thankful. Lastly, to my friends and family, Nick, Jess, and Evie, and to those who are no longer with me, thank you for loving me through it all. How lucky I am to be part of a spectacular dream.
Our next award goes to the St. Anna Catholic School Employee of the Year, Paul McDermott. And his award will be presented by Father Fred Franey III.
I can remember when I first got called into the bishop's office, and you're always nervous when you get called into the bishop's office because you don't know if you're in trouble or if you're moving. And I was moving, I wasn't in trouble. And he said to me, it was last summer, he said, Father, I'm going to send you to St. Anna's Parish in Leominster. Have you ever heard of that place? And I said, yes. I said, that's the Italian parish. And he said, well, is there a problem with that? And I said, well, look at my face. And he said, you've got the last name, you'll be all right. So, when I got there, I was kind of apprehensive, because ethnic parishes they're ethnic. You know, if you might have the last name that's Italian, but you might not look Italian, maybe they won't accept you. And I can remember one of the first people that I met, it relieved all anxiety. I met a man by the name of Paul McDermott. And I said, finally, another Irishman to share my time with. You know, Paul, you're an outstanding man. And you're highly respected and revered by many at St. Anna School. And I personally have witnessed your hard work and your determination in the short time that I'm here. And I sincerely thank you for that. And you know, folks, it takes a special person to be able to work with children. You know, children are remarkably precious, and they always have been and they always will be. And I think part of the reason and part of the thing that makes them so remarkably precious is the fact that they possess 3 virtues and characteristics. And I believe these same 3 virtues and characteristics are inherent in people who are able to work with children so well. And Mr. McDermott possesses these. The first one is simplicity. You know, true simplicity means one thing. The only thing we need to be happy in this world is love, and to love what we do. And here is a remarkable man who every day when he comes to the school, earlier, I'm ashamed to admit before I get up sometimes, genuinely loves what he does. And he's so in love with it that his love is infectious. I mean, you should see the way the pre-K3 and the pre-K4 children relate to him. They call him Mr. Crocodile. And the reason they call him Mr. Crocodile is because that's how he greets them. He says, see you later, alligator. And they say, in a while, crocodile. So he's the crocodile man. And they love him. And this love is a beautiful thing. It just radiates through the entire building. And I thank you for that, Paul. The next virtue that he possesses is humility. You know, he's the last person who would want to be here tonight. He wants to do his job. He wants to not receive recognition and just to stay behind the scenes. And that's a beautiful attribute in and of itself, because it teaches us something about all of ourselves. It teaches us the fact that, you know what, it's not about accolades, it's not about status, it's not about climbing to the top, it's about being who God created you to be and living your vocation with every fiber of your being. And Paul, you do that so exemplary, and I thank you for that. And the last attribute I just want to talk about is trust. You know, here's a man who the entire faculty at St. Anna School trusts. And you trust him because he's never let you down. You trust him because he goes out of his way time and time again to surprise you with things that you never expected him to do. You know, he's so much more to us than an employee. He's a loved one and he's a friend. And you know, Paul, I just want to conclude with something somebody gave me today, because I think even these words can better express my own words. And this is from the students who love you so well, so much. Roses are red, violets are blue, Mr. McDermott can clean or fix anything for you. Just put in your request and he will show you with a smile, no matter screwdriver or plunger. That's why we love Mr. Crocodile. And my friends, it is my absolute honor and privilege to present to you the St. Anna's Employee of the Year, Paul McDermott.
Thank you, Father. Whoopee! First of all, I want to thank the Rotary, with people going out of their way to honor us individuals that, like Father said, I stood there in shock when the principal said that I was voted in as the fact I just stood there and couldn't move for a while. But, all right, here I am. I want to thank the Rotary. I want to thank the teachers, the staff, the volunteers. It is a great school, and I've had many good years there. Where do I want to start now? This is going to be very short, I guarantee you. I married a woman, Joan, and very, very, very shy person. Never really outgoing, but everybody loved her, including me. But as years went along, and I remember one day telling her, she would just give me some kind of advice, her own advice, and she was I was telling her, I said, do you remember when we were Lord, God, and Masters? She said, yes, I do, and I'm glad it changed. So, well, anyways, after this, things went on, and one day, just jokingly, I called my wife the Warden. And it stuck. It stuck with her. I think she liked it. I remember getting Christmas cards that year, and she signed it to my husband, love you, the Warden. So anyways, this is a couple of nights ago. I was going through what I might want to say, and I told a couple of stories that happened at school that I thought were hysterical. And I said, what do you think of that? And she looked at me and said, go up there, thank them, and then go back and sit down. Thank you, Warden. Thank you, everyone.
You know, it's kind of an irony. Every Sunday in church, my pastor says, none of us are perfect. So for all of you who noticed that I made a big mistake here and skipped a couple people and went right there on the agenda, just in case he decides to say that to me next Sunday, I'll say it first. Our next award recipient is St. Leo's Catholic School, Nancy Pierce, presented by Principal Carolyn Pacelli.
I'm right here.
Okay.
You call, I come.
First of all, I'd like to thank Claire and the Rotary Club for giving St. Leo's School the opportunity to be a part of this important evening in choosing our Employee of the Year. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Nancy Pierce. Given the opportunity of choosing our Employee of the Year, we immediately thought of Nancy. Highly motivated, dedicated, dependable, talented, spiritual, creative, professional are only a few adjectives that describe Nancy. There are a few of These are a few of the attributes that St. Leo's school community is proud to uphold. Nancy represents these qualities and many, many more. She lives in Leominster with her husband Arthur. He's also our band teacher. And her 3 lovely children, Christopher, Elizabeth, and Spencer. She earned a bachelor's degree in education and taught at a public school, the McKay Campus School in Fitchburg, for 5 years. She left teaching to work on her bachelor's in nursing. Life circumstances required that she go back to work full-time. Therefore, she could not finish her degree, her final year of nursing, and went back to teaching. Nancy taught at St. Anna's School for 12 years, and during that time was also the assistant principal. Nancy came to St. Leo's School in 2008 and has been a wonderful asset to our school as classroom teacher, music teacher, theater teacher, assistant principal, and a great friend and person to have on our staff. She's a highly effective teacher as she believes it is her responsibility to persist until all students learn. She maintains a respectful classroom environment and is a good listener to her students, her peers, and parents. Nancy has excellent leadership skills and is always setting a higher standard for herself. She lives the mission of St. Leo's School by going one pace beyond and is an outstanding role model for all her students, parents, and colleagues. That's why Nancy Pierce was chosen as St. Leo's Employee of the Year, and we're so proud of her.
Congratulations. Good job. See, first one came out perfect because of her.
I have been blessed more than I probably deserve in my lifetime. I have wonderful family, wonderful friends, 3 great kids who seem to think that I know everything and do everything perfectly. I have a wonderful and supportive husband who usually we are 2 ships passing in the night, and tonight's one of those weird nights where we're actually together in the same place for more than 5 minutes. But I am also truly blessed to be able to share something that I love deeply with my students. 1, my love of knowledge, and 2, my love of faith. It is a joy, and I'm very grateful to Monsignor Doran and Carol Pacelli for giving me the opportunity to share that at St. Leo's School. It's been a wonderful journey, and I'm hoping that God has many more years of this journey for me. Thank you.
Our next recipient is a very dear friend of mine, Bernie Masso, Skyview Middle School, the grade 6 to 8 Employee of the Year. And she will be receiving her award presented by Principal Timothy Blake.
You're not going to behave, so I didn't say
Before I begin, I first wanted to thank the Rotary and the City of Leominster. I've worked in a couple of districts where I'm proud to say I've worked in those districts, but I've never worked in a school district that showed their appreciation, or really worked in a city that showed their appreciation like you do here in Leominster. So this is, my bosses don't like to say I'm new, but I am new enough to say this is unbelievable, and I appreciate that all that you do, so thank you. Now to Bernie. I felt like if I took a poll in this room of who knows Bernie, that just about every hand would be up. So I'm introducing somebody that everybody knows. So I will do my best to introduce you, Bernie. So who's Bernie? First, Bernie is any way you'd like to define it, a stakeholder in this district, the school, and the fine arts department. This is easy to observe. If you're at a staff meeting listening to a new imperative in education, you would see staff members look to Bernie during the presentation, and she would put people at ease simply with a nod of her head to meaning, yes, that's right, this is what it is. You would also see during those same staff meetings the person leading the presentation stop, pause, and say, Bernie, does that sound right? I've been at these staff meetings. I've seen this in music department meetings. I've been the one who stopped and paused to make sure Bernie agreed. I've even heard her name discussed at district level meetings she was not even a part of to see if you think Bernie would agree to this. It's true. Another part of Bernie is simply class. In those moments in any meeting where there isn't a nod of approval, Bernie speaks professionally and passionately about the task at hand. Her tact and timing are impeccable. She knows how to put any side of a contentious concern at ease. She facilitates and brings others towards compromise. Students, parents, staff members, administrators, it really doesn't matter who. Bernie knows how people feel, can speak to their true feelings and intentions, and bring people closer together. Speaking of pulling people closer together, I'd be remiss to say that Bernie is just fun to be around. You want Bernie at your school because she's fun. She doesn't always sing, dance, and tell jokes, but she can. Bernie is the type of staff member you want in your building because she is witty, insightful, and fun to be with during the school day, and even more witty, insightful, and fun after school hours. Lastly, while it's difficult to describe, Bernie takes care of those around her. She speaks to the families of band students like they are a part of her family, and in many ways they are. Before holiday breaks, at special occasions, and before we break for the school year, she speaks to the entire school and staff like a parent taking care of the 1,000 kids at Skyview. And by kids, I mean the little kids and the big kids meaning the staff. If others had the opportunity to speak, I think they would mention this side of her first. Bernie can take care of the great masses and every one of those masses individually. I know for myself, after my first year here in Leominster, a hug from Bernie with some kind words and encouragement was easily a memory I hold most dear from my 3 years here. So at this time, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our Bernie, Leominster's Teacher of the Year.
Say something nice about me. Oh, no, you didn't hear that.
Wow. Everybody that knows me knows it's hard for me to be speechless, but at this time, Father, I don't mean to one-up you, but instead of the bishop coming to see you when I first started teaching in Leominster in 1994, I was called to Bob Sabatelli's office, where he sat with Paul Tresoloni and said, "I ask you a question. How many hours you cook your sauce?" I said 4, 5, 6, minimum 4 hours, he said to me. So I knew I was home, growing up in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, where a diverse community was, all the Italians and the American boy down the street. So I love being here in Leominster. And there's so many people to thank, and I want to take this opportunity. This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal for me, and I appreciate it very much, and I am humbled. First, to the Rotary. I never knew what the Rotary did. I never knew who they were until they came to us and at the middle school and said, "We want to help you out." And I realized at that time that they had vision. And what I mean by vision is that they looked around this city and they saw what the good work that was being done. And they thought, 20 years ago, when I first started here, let's honor those people one at a time for doing the good work of keeping us safe, keeping us clean, keeping us protected, and keeping our children educated. And they have done that, and I'm so forever grateful. Our dinner on the 25th of April is for the middle school music program. I hope you will attend. It's great fun, and it's great food, and it's great wine. And so we have, that goes to our middle school music program. And they have also seen the vision of how hard our students work, and that's why we're here. I told my kids today during the band rehearsal that all this hubbub about Teacher of the Year, Teacher of the Year, I said, don't worry, when I show up tomorrow, I'll just be a teacher, Teacher of the Year. And I said, you know, don't get this wrong. It has very little to do with me and everything to do with you, because you make me look good. You know, you could be the best teacher in the world if there is such a thing, and if the students don't believe in you and the families don't support you, it doesn't get done. And so I said to them, thank you, because you're the ones that put me here tonight. So to the Rotary, I am forever grateful for the help that you give our entire city. To the fire department, we are in solidarity with you tonight, brothers and sisters, for your loss, and we feel that with you, and we are so sorry for that. And I still cook my sauce 4 to 5 hours, Bob. The next family is my family. From Newcastle, Pennsylvania. They couldn't be here tonight, although I know they're here. My brother lives in Hershey, and my family's his nephews and my nephew and niece. My niece is in Washington, and my nephew and his family are in Pittsburgh. That's why I'm a Steelers fan. And they sent me a video today. And you know, it was just so overwhelming to see the little kids, my great nieces and nephews, and my niece and nephew, and my brother and his family wish me well, because I finally realized they had been paying attention to what was going on. And they said that they knew that I loved my job, and that I love my students, that I love the people that I work with, and I have been honored and blessed to be a part of working in Pennsylvania and Illinois, and finally here in the city of Leominster. So my mother had this thing where I would do my recitals, or if there was a wedding or something, she would get a bus, and she'd load all the people in Mahoneytown, where I lived in the community, and put them on the bus. So I thought for sure tonight I was going to see a bus. But let me tell you, I don't think they're looking down on me right now. I think they're standing beside me. And I'm so forever grateful to my family, who never missed anything that I did. And the further away I moved, they just couldn't make it sometimes. And, but they are here tonight, and I'm grateful for that. My next family is the family of music teachers that I am so grateful to be able to teach with. Starting from the high school with Barry and Arthur, to the middle school, to the elementary schools, with people, Judy Russo from Fallbrook, Caitlin Brayman and Ruthie Lou from Northwest, my protege, Cara McHugh, our newest music teacher, my protege and partner at Skyview, Brenda and Gale. And I have to thank the two of these guys that have really are by my side every step of the way. And that's Larry Zuaro and Bob Landry. Once again, it's who you hang around that makes you look good. You know, and those guys, and really, and Mr. and Mrs. Delaney, how about it, fabulous people. Their families, all the way, are my family. On that table it said the Marceau family. And that's how I feel tonight, that everybody here, Miriam's mother and sister are here, all the people that I'm close friends with and I teach with and I'm honored to be with every day are here. I do want to congratulate all the recipients tonight. Gail was one of the first people I met when I started teaching here, and instantly was drawn to her charismatic way with those kids. I thought, yeah, I'm going to watch that woman because I'm going to learn a lot from her. Nancy and the people from the Catholic schools, congratulations. And TJ's coming up, and I don't know TJ that well, but TJ has some bad news. Now we all know that TJ, we think, is going to be a Buddhist monk someday, is the word on the street. So namaste. But TJ, those beads you gave Sandy Cucciara to find the path to enlightenment, they didn't work. So, so I don't know if they were defective or whatever they were. And lastly, And lastly, I want to say one of the honors I had here in Leominster was being, as odd as it may sound, union president for the Leominster Education Association. And I was so honored because I felt that the collective voice of those 520-some teachers, not only the teachers, the staff, the aides, the paraprofessionals, the tech aides, people that keep our life going every single day, that I was their voice. And so tonight, as much as I said from the time I heard I was honored with this award, I said, I don't know how you choose one teacher. And so I say to each of the people that I have known here in Leominster, I thank you, and I accept this award on behalf of all the hardworking, dedicated professionals in the city of Leominster. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
After you, madam. Yeah, we got stuff for you up here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next recipient is the Police Department Employee of the Year, David Rzewski, presented by Chief Robert Healy.
Thank you, Claire. For those of you that don't know, Joe Siciliano, my good friend, twice he won the Employee of the Year. And Peter Roddy, once I told him that Joe Sis could have been Employee of the Year every year for his dedication to law enforcement and drug work in the city of Leominster. But not tonight, Joe. Tonight it's Dave Rajewski, a rather quiet and unassuming officer. Many of you probably don't know. For the last 28 years, David has worked the night shift, 11 to 7. Now, for the last 3 years, I've empowered a small secret committee to choose the Employee of the Year from nominations from their colleagues, Dave's colleagues. And as every year, they secretly meet next to me in the conference room. I'm behind closed doors, of course. And then this year, within minutes, they came back to me and said they had selected Dave. It was an easy selection. Dave has certainly earned the respect and the admiration of his colleagues by showing up for the last 28 years, harboring the same calm and friendly demeanor. David also possesses a fabulous memory. Many of his colleagues will understand that you need something you know to know about somebody in the city of Leominster. David either has it in his little front notebook in the front pocket or right up here, whether it's a partial plate or a name or your dog's name. David knows it. Now, police work's a tough profession for families. 2/3 of their time is spent working on any given day of the year. They work Christmas, holidays, Thanksgiving. It's the nature of our business. We certainly understand it. It gets more and more difficult as time goes on, and for 28 years, probably 15 of those Dave was unable to spend with his lovely wife Nina and his 3 children on Christmas and holidays. But he still came to work with that same vigor. Well, vigor, Dave, I wouldn't say vigor for Dave, but he came with that same calm demeanor that he's always had. Dave and I do have one thing in common. We both wear glasses. Dave will appreciate that glasses are your lifeblood if you're a police officer. You don't want them knocked off your face. It has done for me. But on Dave's very first day at work, Dave showed up, rather seasoned officer looked over and said, "Hey, David, what's that on your glasses here?" Dave said, "It's my strap." And from then forward on, Dave has been known as the strap. Dave's a hard-working family man. Not from dating anybody here, but when Dream Machine was operating out of the former Searstown Mall, Dave was there more than anybody else, working diligently so his lovely wife Nina could continue to shop. Now, when I was a young sergeant about 25 years ago, I didn't know Dave all that well. And Dave is, you could say, probably kind of a hard to get to know kind of guy. Until one day I was out and I happened to see, is he up there on the screen, right, this handsome fella right here, David. I walked up and launched into a litany of stories about the police department, and talking to him after a few minutes, I was just getting a baleful stare. And he looked at me and goes, "I'm not Dave." It was then I learned Dave had a twin brother. He's not so twin, is still here, right here today, and I haven't seen him in 25 years, but he's over there. Now, Dave goes above and beyond whatever we ask him to do at the police department. He's a wonderful police officer, and he always shows up. He's been there 28 straight years, but everybody makes a rookie mistake. And Dave's rookie mistake was pulling up to a rather horrific accident, which is what we have to do as police officers. We see, rather horrific things, and we see deceased people, and Dave rolled up. I don't know if it was one of his first ones, but it was a bad accident. Dave walked up and pronounced the man dead. Rolled the sheet over him. Dave, he lived. David, I want to tell you, you're a proud father of 3 young children, good kids. You're a wonderful husband. You're a terrific police officer. And with a real Dave Rajewski, please stand up and come forward.
On midnights. That's it.
I'd like to say thank you to all of you.
That's it.
Our next recipient is the High School Employee of the Year for the Leominster School Department, Thomas Noviello, presented by Principal Tom Brown.
Frankie? That's the best, huh?
Good evening, everybody. I want to point out one thing very quickly, that it's actually kind of a bonus night for the high school, because one of the things that wasn't mentioned was that Officer Rajewski was the school resource officer at Leominster High School for several years. And he was a great colleague, a great partner. The kids loved him, and you're a teacher too, all right? With that being said, it's my honor to introduce the Employee of the Year for the secondary school level, very deserving teacher, Thomas T.J. Noviello. And TJ represents so many things, and does so many things well in so many different ways. I'll start off with the simplest, though, in that he is the true story of the hometown boy made good. TJ is a 2003 graduate of Leominster High School, and as a 2003 graduate, I thought I'd take a moment to go find his yearbook and go through the yearbook and see if I could find something, a funny quote, or maybe something from his biography. And the folks who know, don't say uh-oh, because the things people who know TJ knows won't be surprised to find out there was no quote and there was no biography. TJ is a man of few words. He lets his actions speak for him. That being said, for his students, they'll be happy to know that I did page through the book, and I promised TJ that I would not bring the pictures. But he does have 2 pictures in there. One is with the Robotics Club, and one is with Mole Society, and this is mole in the sense of the chemical measurement, not the animal, as he was very active in this. In both pictures, he's wearing what looks like a lovely new hockey shirt, hockey jersey, and it's not the Boston Bruins, it's not the Worcester Sharks, it's not even the Leominster Blue Devils. It is a hockey t-shirt for Insane Clown Posse. So, TJ, you may not be the first recipient, but my guess is you're the first Juggalo recipient, so congratulations. With that being said, I cannot praise the accomplishments of TJ Noviello enough. TJ teaches in the lines of great teachers like Carl Sagan, and Neil deGrasse Tyson. He simply makes physics cool. There's nothing hokey about his instruction. He doesn't show up into class dressed up as Isaac Newton or anything like that. But he simply fosters the true wonder and amazement of science through his passion and love for the field. I can certainly attest to all of you that I'm at the far end of the spectrum of humanities and math and science. But when I go into TJ's room, I linger because I'm just excited and I want to see the end of the story. Perhaps I'm being hokey when I say that I would call TJ a fisherman of students. He puts out his line, he hooks the students, and once he hooks them, he has them. And they'll go to the end of the earth for him. And TJ can calculate the end of the earth within 3 inches, by the way. So just in case all this is shown by the fact that he's an advanced placement teacher. And in his advanced placement physics B class, he has a 96% passing rate amongst his students. In his physics C class, he has a 100% passing rate for those students. Now, the part that I didn't mention is Leominster High School does not offer Physics C as a class. This class is done after school, where students voluntarily come after school to meet with TJ after school on weekends. There's pizza sessions and everything else, and through that work, he has a 100% passing rate. Yes. So I could go on about the wonderful things he does as the advisor for the Science Club. I could talk about his late night stargazing sessions that he asks me, Mr. Brown, is it okay if I go out and look at the stars with some students? And I say no, but then he goes anyhow. Because I certainly don't say no, because he does a great job. The way he sells science to the freshmen at all our open houses, he comes up with some funny thing, and this is where he is, gets a little bit hokey, but the kids love science as they walk in. But I'd just be scratching the surface of TJ's great work. So I'll conclude, and as Bernie mentioned, everyone kind of knows that TJ is a big student of philosophy and religion, and in particular the Eastern faiths. And I believe that his teaching career is the embodiment of these beliefs, as he is one of the most selfless people that I always know that he puts his students first. But tonight, we get, for at least one short moment, we get to put TJ up at the forefront. It's my honor to recognize him as the LHS Employee of the Year.
I guess I'd like to first thank Mr. Brown for not showing the Juggalo pictures that exist of me. I was very scared about that. I want to just say thank you for the people who are here to support me tonight. It really means a lot to my colleagues who are here and the ones that couldn't make it, to my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother-in-law, Mr. and Mrs. Gendron, also my family, Karen Mahoney and Steve Lanza, also my family. And most importantly, the people who are here tonight to support me, my students in the back, a dozen of them. Thank you guys so much. But I do want to tell you one thing, and I'll let you guys in a little secret because you're all my AP students. You can't tell anyone though. You have a quiz tomorrow. Thank you.
Our next award is the Leominster Public Library Employee of the Year. And Susan Shelton is going to bestow that award on Ann Finch.
Good evening, and thank you to the Leominster Rotary Club for allowing the library for the second year to choose Employee of the Year. You can take the girl out of the library, but fortunately for Leominster, you couldn't take the library out of the girl. Even though Ann Charpentier Finch left the Leominster Public Library twice since she started working there as a high school student making $2.35 an hour, to pursue other careers, she thankfully returned both times. and is admired and well-liked by her colleagues and the public. She approaches her work with the same professionalism and thoughtfulness every single day. She is respected by her colleagues for her flexibility, patience, good humor, and willingness to help out whenever and wherever she is needed. When Ann brings a problem to her department's head's attention, she always brings it with a well-thought-out solution or procedural change that comes with the customer's point of view, and one that inevitably improves the library's efficiency and enhances its customer service. She treats every patron with respect and pleasantness. She is skilled at diffusing difficult situations, and yes, we do have them at the library. Even the angriest patrons leave knowing they were listened to carefully, they were treated respectfully, and that they did all they could possibly do for them. She did all that she possibly could do for them. She never hesitates to take time to further research a question or get an answer to a problem, and then follow up with a patron at a later time. A regular library patron wrote to me to say, Ann can recommend or name any work of fiction with only the vaguest of information. Fiction selection and working at the information desk are only two of the things that Ann does during the course of her work week. In order to continue to be a vital and vibrant community service, the library is constantly changing to meet the evolving needs of its patrons. Ann embraces these changes and seeks out opportunities to learn new skills and to get involved with new projects. She juggles a myriad of job responsibilities skillfully and with close attention to detail. Her job title, Special Services Coordinator, has involved a constantly changing and ever-growing list of job responsibilities over the years, which Ann has done easily and quickly adapted to and without ever complaining. A group of urban library directors recently developed a list of important attributes for librarians. They said they are flexibility, bravery, instincts of a social worker, skills of a good weight person, ability to embrace the community, ability to live with ambiguity, and optimism. Ann possesses all of these qualities and more. It is my real honor and pleasure to introduce Ann Finch, our Library Employee of the Year.
Why don't you say nice things like that about me once in a while?
I will.
Well, I'll be brief, not quite as brief as Dave, but pretty brief. First, thank you so much to the Leominster Rotary Club for this lovely event. My mom and dad have told this story often. They said that my first complete sentence was, "I gotta read a book." My love of books, reading, and libraries obviously started early. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do challenging, interesting work with people who aren't just coworkers, but friends, in a place that you truly love. To Susan, my library family, my family at home, thank you so much. I'm truly honored.
And last but not least, and thankfully we had no snow, we wouldn't have any DPW here. The Leominster DPW Employee of the Year is David LeBlanc, and his presentation will be made by Roger Brooks, Business Manager for the DPW.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Rotary for sponsoring this program. It's been a tremendous program. I think this is the most people that have ever been here, and it's just a statement to the commitment you feel folks make to the city and the employees. We appreciate it. This year, our recipient is Dave LeBlanc. David has started with the Leominster Water Department in 2003. He moved on to a promotion in the meter department, reading meters, in 2005. We had 2 meter readers at the time. We read approximately 4,000 meters per month. And over the last 8 years, David has been one of the integral parts of upgrading the system that we use. We have a ProRead system that we actually provide remote reading, so it'll expedite the process. We're about halfway through that. David will read by himself those 4,000 meters now. We've been able to consolidate positions, and over the last 2 years, we've reduced the time it takes to read the meters throughout the system, and upon completing that, David will come in and then go out and install more remote readers to get us closer to fully automated reading. With that, that'd be approximately 48,000 readings per year, and the importance of that is making sure that we provide accurate calculations for both the water and sewer billings that we send out. David is a graduate of Leominster Trade School. He is somebody that has shown a real commitment to showing up to work every day with a smile on his face. You see him, he looks the same in the morning as he does when he goes home at night. Comes in, says hi, comes in at lunch smiling, leaves at the afternoon smiling. It's almost like, you know, nobody should have that perfect a temperament every single day. But, so David, over the last 2 years, has done some work outside as far as increasing his proficiency within the water department. He's taken testing at New England Waterworks. He has been able to achieve the grade of D2, which is the distribution treatment license. This takes a lot of time, a lot of study, and he does this on his own. To sum up David, I'm going to read a quote from a gentleman that gave him the course at New England Waterworks. Instructor stated in a letter to the department, he proved to be a serious student, genuinely anxious to succeed, and worked hard to master the material. His positive attitude, desire to learn, and his pleasant demeanor made him a welcome addition to the group. And I think that really reflects David both as an individual and his work ethic within the city of Leominster. So I'm really proud to present David LeBlanc, DPW Employee of the Year.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the Rotary. I'd like to thank all the people who nominated me for this award. I'll try to keep this as short and sweet as possible. About 3 weeks ago, I was called upstairs into the office. And when I went upstairs, I was greeted by Mr. Brooks, the acting director, Mr. Racine, and 3 of the secretaries, and I walk up and it's like, this isn't good. So I walk up, I say, what's up? They hand me an envelope. And I said, open it. And inside there's an envelope with my name written on it. Anxiety level spikes. It says, open the envelope. So I read the envelope, and that's when I learned that I had been nominated for this award, and I was quite shocked, and I thank you all. I thank my family, my mother and father who are in the audience, all my friends and family. Thanks again. Have a good evening.
Again, congratulations to all the recipients tonight. Just a couple of closing comments. You know we do fundraise. That's the lifeblood of our organization. This is a historical calendar. You heard Mary mention it earlier. Not going to talk too long about it, but it's a lot of you in the room already have them because you support it every year. But it's $20 and it has a lot of historic photos in it, football teams. The Historical Society helps us and the commission helps us. You still have 36 more weeks to win, and Councilor Lanciani was one of the first winners, so he can attest to the fact that names actually do get drawn. So if anybody's interested in helping us, this supports the Mayor's Heating Fund, helps the scholarships at the high school, and it's one of our major events. The other thing is our wine event that'll be coming up April 25th. It's a Friday evening. This will be our 5th year doing it. We started doing it for the middle school music program, as Bernie mentioned. It's a phenomenal event. First year we did it, we said, nobody's going to pay $90 to come, but we took a chance. My son is a wine consultant. He does the wines, pairing them with Bill Brady from Sonoma Restaurant and Grandview Country Club, and it's just an incredible event. We have to limit the tickets to $99 because of restrictions at the Grandview, but we have an incredible time. Last year we sold out, so if anybody's interested, we held the price at $90. We've been able to give Samoset and Skyview middle schools for their band programs a little over $7,000 to each school so far in the past 4 years. We've added ads to our sponsoring tables, which has helped us get a little bit more money. But the beauty of the place, and some of the kids come and entertain us prior to the event on the patio, and hopefully by April 25th, we'll have nice weather and go out in the patio and enjoy it a little bit before the dinner. So it's 5 courses. Anybody's interested to see any of us, Bernie will have tickets at Skyview, Bob will have them at Samoset, and that would be a great help for us. In closing, I'd like to ask Monsignor Doran from St. Leo's to offer a benediction.
Thank you, Claire, and as we're on our way, please drive safely tonight, and we can drive well without the snowstorm that went out to sea. But you know, in the Hebrew scripture, when Aaron asked Moses, "What blessing might I give the people?" Moses responded in the way I pray for you tonight. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you, and may grant you his peace. Be safe, and good night.
That concludes our evening. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting this event tonight as well.